If you stand in the northern Wisconsin woods at dusk, when the wind settles and the pines whisper, you can almost feel the echo of an older world beneath your feet. Northern Wisconsin was once a world of deep silence, a wilderness of towering forests, mirrored lakes, and rivers that carried stories long before they carried trade. In 1634, a lone canoe appeared on these waters. Inside sat Jean Nicolet, a French explorer whose arrival would open the door to a new era. Word traveled quickly across the Atlantic. Europe hungered for beaver pelts, the raw material for the hats that crowned nobles and merchants alike. And here in this vast northern country, beaver were plentiful. Traders and missionaries followed Nicolet, but they could not navigate this land alone. They turned to the Ojibwa, Ho-Chunk, and Menominee, whose knowledge of the forests and waterways made the trade possible. Pelts moved east. Knives, blankets, beads, and cloth moved west. These exchanges were more than commerce. They were relationships woven through diplomacy, trust, and shared survival. Voyagers paddled the inland routes with legendary endurance, their canoes stacked high with tightly packed bundles of fur. French traders vanished into the deep woods, returning with stories and pelts from the far interior. From Wisconsin to Montreal, from Montreal across the Atlantic, the fur trade became a global artery. For more than a century, it shaped every life it touched. But no trade lasts forever. After the French and Indian War, Britain seized control of the region. Competition sharpened, debts deepened, and beneath it all, the beaver itself was disappearing. Overhunted, overtrapped, overvalued. By the early 1800s, the market collapsed. European fashion changed, the pelts were gone, but the debts, especially for Native communities, remained. Then came 1837. At St. Peter's, U.S. officials gathered Dakota and Ojibwa leaders. The fur trade was dying, but a new hunger had risen, not for pelts, but for pine. Northern Wisconsin and Minnesota were blanketed with towering white pines, straight, strong, and seemingly endless. To a young nation pushing westward, these forests were the key to expansion. Pine built ships that crossed oceans. It fortified frontier posts. It framed farmhouses and barns. It became the railroad ties that carried America forward. The Treaty of St. Peter's opened millions of acres to logging companies, and the transformation was immediate. Where quiet trading posts once stood, logging camps erupted. Where canoes once glided, log drives thundered downriver, endless carpets of pine rolling towards the mills. The age of fur had ended. The age of timber had begun. Yet the land remembers. Walk the northern woods at dusk, and you can still feel the layers of history beneath your feet. The old portage trails, the ghostly outlines of camps, the silent ponds where beaver once shaped the world. This is the story of a frontier transformed, of a people, a land, and an economy reshaped by the turning of eras. From pelts to pine, the forest has always been the witness.